In their first interview since declaring a cyber war on the militants, they proved how they're taking down websites which publicise jihadi-controlled social media accounts. Sky's Joe Tidy reports.
If you're on the internet, you're there because we kind of let you be there.
Behind the menacing masks and monikers of notorious hacking collective Anonymous is a disarmingly ordinary group of people. Here, my interview with a father of three who calls himself Comedy is interrupted by members of his own team for fun.
Oh, man. I'm going to kill these guys.
It contrasts with the deadly serious declaration the group made against IS after the Paris attacks last month.
We are going to launch the biggest ever operation against you. Expect very many cyber attacks.
So far, Anonymous, led by a small group of specialists called GhostSec, claim to have taken down more than 100 Islamic State websites and more than 25,000 social media accounts. And every attack brings its own brand of humour to antagonise the jihadis further. The hackers say their pranks serve a purpose.
That was just a way of saying, got you guys. This is serious business to us, but we keep a sense of humor to keep ourselves sane, because a lot of what we see and a lot of, you can't unsee this stuff.
The small team of around 12 hackers say they work around the clock in shifts, finding potential targets online. With the support of the larger collective, they claim to be able to take down most sites. In order to give us a demonstration of what Anonymous is capable of, they've given us a heads up on their latest takedown. This is a website address they've sent us. They think the website is IS run. We don't know that for sure, but certainly looking at the translations, it appears to be IS sympathetic at least. They've said they're going to take it down any minute now. So it looks like they've been successful. It says here, internal server error. Now, these types of attacks normally only last a matter of hours or days, but such is the network of Anonymous, they're confident they can keep this site down for months. Impressive though it is, it's still unclear how much damage they're actually doing to Islamic State.
Where you have groups like Anonymous, say, naming and shaming and putting up a list of 20,000 Twitter accounts that are allegedly connected with ISIS, and when those accounts also include the BBC, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and just accounts that seem to be written in Arabic, then you realise that there could be collateral damage for individuals who are falsely accused, which could be very devastating and very harmful.
What the authorities think of their actions isn't likely to keep these hackers up at night. They say they're struggling to keep up with the newer, better protected sites that are being created all the time, and the security services aren't doing enough.
They're either ignoring it, or they don't know how to do it, or they don't have the time, or they don't have the manpower. I guess if I had to do this as a job, I would do it for 8 hours a day and go home and forget about it. But we see it as more of a passion, and about the only break we get is sleeping.
The reach of Anonymous can't be underestimated, but it seems they may have met their match in the equally prolific and enterprising enemy that is Islamic State. Joe Tidy, Sky News.
Let's talk more about Anonymous. Our technology correspondent Tom Cheshire joins me. So, Tom, often seen as irritating and indeed downright dangerous, Anonymous is now trying to be a force for good.
It's been trying to be a force for good for quite a long time, actually. Since June last year, that's when it's launched its first operation against so-called Islamic State. And it's been having a few since then after Charlie Hebdo attacks as well. And it's become a sort of constant game of attrition. After this latest operation was announced, Islamic State put out a message on Telegram, which is a messaging app, and they called Anonymous idiots. And then they contemptuously said, what are they going to hack? And that's pointing to the fact this is mainly around social media accounts. There's no real damage being done to the infrastructure of Islamic State in terms of its digital capabilities. But that is still important. We've had the Director General of MI5, Andrew Parker, say that online spaces are very useful in radicalising people here in the UK and elsewhere. Eric Schmidt, who's the chairman of Alphabet, which is the new umbrella company which owns Google, saying more needs to be done to hunt out this content online. And then you have presidential contenders over the US, Hillary Clinton saying we need to eradicate these safe spaces, and Donald Trump recently saying he was going to go see Bill Gates and talk to him about closing up the internet. But where the real damage has been done is actually in the real world. So Junaid Hussain, who was a British citizen, he was killed in a drone strike. He was one of the technical masterminds behind Islamic State, and his death has removed a lot of their technical capability. And increasingly we're seeing groups like Anonymous, formerly associated with Anonymous, going away from this online sort of trolling behavior, actually looking for intelligence on Islamic State and handing that intelligence over to the authorities. They've had a very antagonistic relationship in the past, so that is a new chapter in terms of how Anonymous are approaching this so-called cyber war with the Islamic State.
And what more do you know, and can you tell us? I mean, by their very name, we know they like to stay in the shadows. How many of them are there? Where are they based? And how do they operate?
Well, it's very hard to say exactly how many. Anyone can be a member of Anonymous. All you have to do is say you're a member of Anonymous. As Joe Tidy mentioned in that report there, it's a self-organising collective. So you get these sort of groups of people. So GoSec, they're a group of around 10 people. Another group called ControlSec, which is around 8 to 10. They claim they helped to thwart a terror attack in Tunisia. They're the ones doing the intelligence monitoring. But it's very, very hard to say in terms of all of this. For a lot of people, it's an idle activity. They might do it just to pass the time. You saw those pictures of Photoshop ducks. That's actually something Anonymous is terrific at, is mocking Islamic State. And it's on the other side, though, with Islamic State, you have Islamic State itself, but then you have legions of people online who just retweet things, they spread it about, who might not actually be Islamic State, might not even really sympathise with Islamic State. They're just bored and they want to cause mischief.
Tom, many thanks for that. Tom Cheshire there. Now, the police regulator is warning that only 3 police forces in England and Wales are well prepared to deal with victims of honour-based violence. Our social affairs editor, Afua Hirsch, reports.
These people were brutally murdered, not by strangers, but by those closest to them. They were all victims